Good morning, good people, brothers, sisters, and beautiful, defiant siblings in the movement. Welcome to the unapologetic voice of labor, equity, and action. This is CWA Our Power radio show where we amplify the organizers, uplift the everyday workers, and honor the giants whose shoulders we stand on right here on KYOK 1140 AM and the all new 106.5 FM in the heart of Houston, Texas. If you're rolling through H-Town or just fired up anywhere in the world, stream us live at kyokradio.org on the CWA Strong app or catch the replay anytime by searching CWA Hour of Power on your favorite podcast platform. Because this space, this time, it's about us. That's right, it's about us. We're talking union contracts, organizing victories, labor rights, human dignity, fair pay, and bold, everyday resistance to injustice in every form. So whether you're on the job, in your car, at your kitchen table, or deep in the fight, lean in. Honk your horns if you stand with workers. Throw a fist up if you know your worth. Joining me today are the fire starters and truth tellers, Timmia Wiley and Tay Akins. So buckle up, beloveds, because the power we build together, that power is ours. Oh, and by the way, Micaiah and Reginald, they're off traveling somewhere today, so they left us to do the work. This week's episode of CWA Our Power is packed with voices, vision, and truth. Our union voices are ringing in every district from Alaska to Maine, Texas to Minnesota, Canada to Puerto Rico, because we don't play at CWA. Our union brothers, sisters, and siblings at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette have been outside for 33 months striking on the picket lines. And while they're striking, they are still turning out the news with facts for you and me. Let's show our support to them by making sure we subscribe to unionprogress.com. Once you subscribe to this free publication, how about going over and donating to their strike fund at cwa.org/ppg-donate. And I just heard someone shout, when we fight, we win. So welcome to another edition of the CWA Our Power radio show where labor rights, human rights, and civil rights all unite at the intersection of truth and action. I'm your host, Errol Minor, and today we open our show by lifting the name of a global brother in the human rights struggle, a man whose courage echoes the heartbeat of communities rising across the world. His name is Dzikamai Bere. He is the national director of the Zimbabwe Human Rights Association, ZimRights, the first and largest post-independence indigenous human rights advocacy group in Zimbabwe. Let that sink in. Founded in 1992, ZimRights is more than an organization. It's a people-powered movement, 250,000 strong, built on the simple, radical belief that freedom is not a gift from the powerful, but a birthright of the people. These members are not just watching history happen, they are shaping it. And at the helm stands Brother Dzikamai, a man who began his journey in the courts of law, but realized early on that real justice lives far beyond the courtroom. It lives in the hearts of everyday people. He traded a judge's bench for the grassroots because he believed something many of us in the labor movement know to be true. Lasting change never trickles down, it rises up. From the townships of Zimbabwe to the union halls of Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, and beyond, the struggles may look different, but the spirit is the same. Whether you're organizing for a union contract, demanding clean water, or marching for the right to vote, we are all connected by a shared fight. The fight to be seen, the fight to be heard, the fight to be free. ZimRights and CWA walk different roads, but we both know what it means to challenge systems that silence us. We both know what it means to speak truth when it's dangerous and to organize when it feels impossible. So today, we salute Dzikamai Bere. We salute the people of Zimbabwe standing up for their right to assemble, to speak, to live with dignity. And we say to our members here, let their courage remind us of our own. Let us remember that every right we enjoy once was just a dream someone dared to fight for. So don't just listen today. Stand up, speak out, show up in your workplace, your community, your union hall, and yes, even at the ballot box. Because as Dzikamai Bere teaches us, human rights don't start in courtrooms or boardrooms. They start at home, in neighborhoods, in conversations, in courage. This is CWA Our Power, and like Zim writes, we're not waiting for permission to use it. This has been your CWA Our Power Human Rights Spotlight. Stay strong, stay union, stay human. You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org. Tune in live every Thursday, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Podchaser. Search for CWA Hour of Power on your favorite podcast player. Up next, we have July Awareness Month, and sitting in for Makia Jones is Timmia Wiley. Good morning, Timmia.
Good morning, Arrow, brothers, sisters, siblings in the struggle. This is Timmia coming to you live with love, light, and solidarity on the Our Power radio show. This month, we pause to honor, educate, and raise our voices for Sarcoma Awareness Month, a time to shine a light on a rare and often overlooked group of cancers that affect thousands of families every year. Sarcoma is known as a forgotten cancer, but not on this show, and not in this union, and not in this movement. Sarcoma doesn't just touch the body, it impacts working families, it destroys lives, it demands awareness and justice just like we do. There are more than 70 types of sarcoma, attacking bones and soft tissue, often in young people, children, and adults in their prime working years. But because it's rare, it's underfunded, it's misdiagnosed, and underdiscussed. That's where we come in. At CWA, we believe health is a human right, and that includes fighting for visibility for the rare battles, the ones that don't get pink ribbons, but still break hearts and take lives. So today, we say the names of our sarcoma warriors, past and present. We're going to advocate for more research, more early detection, and more support for families impacted. We wear yellow for courage. We speak boldly for the silence. Let's take this message beyond the mic. Post, share, talk to your family. Demand that your union health plans and community partners stay informed on rare cancers. Let our message be clear. No one, and we mean no one, fights alone, not on our watch, not in our union, not ever. This has been Timmia Wiley, like the coyote, for Our Power radio show. Keep fighting, keep feeling, and keep organizing. Back to you, Errol.
You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org. Tune in live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org. The CWA Strong app or your preferred podcast player, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, and Podchaser. All right, guys, let's get ready to talk about what we've been doing over the last few days. And we're going to open up with talking about the fierce urgency of now. Labor, civil, and human rights can't wait. We all have just gotten back from Charlotte, North Carolina. And Timmia, you have the mic.
I have the mic, and I am joined by some powerful voices. So let's go back to 1963, Washington, D.C., the March on Washington, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't just speak on a dream, he warned a nation. He said, "We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. There is such a thing as being too late." Y'all, Dr. King wasn't just playing. He saw the violence, the poverty, the injustice, and he knew time was running out for too many of us.
And let's not forget that Dr. King was assassinated while standing with sanitation workers on strike in Memphis. And his last mission was about labor rights, about poor Black workers demanding fair pay and dignity. He knew that poverty and racism are twins, and you can't fix one without the other.
What Dr. King saw back then, the unsafe working conditions, racist laws, unchecked police violence, low wages, it's still showing up today. We're still fighting for health care, still demanding voting rights, and still watching billionaires get richer while workers struggle to buy groceries.
And look, we're not here to quote history. We're here to call it forward because if you got eyes to see, you know the clock hasn't stopped ticking. In fact, it's louder than ever. The
Mhm.
fierce urgency of now shows up in 500, 500 workers being laid off in Mount Holly, North Carolina. It shows up in union busting at Google and Amazon. Google and Amazon. It shows up in hospital workers who are understaffed and underpaid while executives fly private jets.
You are so correct. And it shows up in voting rights being rolled back, book bans in our schools, and entire histories. Listen to me good, guys. Entire histories being erased to protect fragile feelings.
It shows up in young Black trans workers who are targeted by legislation, and women losing control of their own bodies, and in the unchecked mental health crisis that nobody in power wants to talk about right now.
And can I be real with y'all?
Come on with it.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. It shows up in our unions too.
Yes.
We got to clean our own house. When we don't confront racism, sexism, or anti-LGBTQIA plus bias within our own locals, we become a part of the problem. The fight starts with us. We got to remember that the labor movement is the civil rights movement. I'm gonna say that again. The labor movement is the civil rights movement. Our ancestors didn't separate their fight for freedom from their fight for fair wages. Those that came before us did not separate their fight for freedom from their fight for fair wages. Bayard Rustin was a union organizer. A. Philip Randolph built the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and organized the March on Washington. That all goes hand in hand.
Correct, correct. And you know what, Timmia? Every contract negotiation is a human rights struggle. Let me just say that one more time because I don't think they heard me in the back. Every contract negotiation is a human rights struggle. We're bargaining for the right to live, to be safe, to retire with dignity. And these aren't luxuries, they're rights. And let me say this, Tay, because I see you have something that you want to say. And I just thank CWA for bargaining for pensions for me. Okay. And if it were not for pensions, and this is something that's going on now, companies do not want to contribute to employee pensions. So now things are happening with negotiations where they're not negotiating on pensions. How do you expect people to live after they have dedicated their lives to a company, 30 years working, 25 years working, and then they have nothing to fall back on after 30 years of blood, sweat, and tears? Let me get off my soapbox. Go
No,
ahead,
talk
Talk
Tay.
about
about
it.
it.
Eric.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. um, so let's stop treating equality like it's an extra. DEI isn't a feel good initiative. It's about making sure every worker has a seat, a voice, and a future in this movement.
Now
Because
you know
Because
Reginald gonna get you, Tay.
what kind of
I,
labor movement are we building if we can't hold the whole community? Labor has to be Black, labor has to be immigrant, labor has to be disabled, labor has to be LGBTQIA plus, or is it really, or ain't it really labor?
Can I say something right here, Timmia? labor has to be inclusive.
It has to be inclusive.
It,
Or
it's,
is
it's,
it?
it's, it's, it's not just,
It's the
um,
99%. It's
yes,
the 99%. It is the working class 99%.
yes.
Because
And
Dr.
you,
King warned us there is a such thing of as being too late. We are living through voter suppression, climate collapse, a rollback of reproductive rights, and billionaires funding policies to destroy our unions. He said that back in the 60s. This is 2025.
yes,
Make it make sense.
they can't. I mean, listen, I think all of us are hot on this thing.
Listen.
You're banning words like diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility. You're banning words like diversity. You're banning words like solidarity. But we're going to say them louder because silence is complicity and delay is death. We have to say something about all of this. Come on, Tay.
Too late means another generation of Black children, marginalized children going to underfunded schools. Too late means another worker dying without health care. Too late means our trans youth without protection. We can't afford too late anymore.
And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna get off my soapbox in a minute, but if you're waiting for the right moment, guess what? You waited too late. You need to stand up. It's right now. There won't be a better time. This is the generation that has to decide, are we gonna be footnotes or are we gonna be freedom riders?
Hey,
We
Timmy,
got
can I say something right here?
Go ahead, go
I'm
ahead, go
sorry.
ahead.
I don't
I'm
mean to
gonna take a
cut you
breath.
off,
No,
but
I'm
I
gonna take a
think
breath. I'm
we
gonna
have
breathe.
I think we have gotten reinvigorated, especially after the NAACP 116th conference. We don't have next. We have now, and we've got
Exactly.
to make the difference right now. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut across you,
No,
but I'm
you're okay.
just
I need to breathe. I need to take a sip of my water and cool down just a little bit. But we got to go to the picket line. We have to go to the ballot box. We have to go to the classrooms. We have and educate ourselves because history repeats itself. We have to go into our communities. We lift our voices. We have to organize. If you don't know what organizing is, once upon a time I didn't know what organizing was, and y'all gonna hear from one of my teachers, Aiden, in just a little bit, who showed me how to organize. Um, Educate yourselves. There is such a thing as organizing and mobilizing. I didn't really know what that was. And it's okay to not know, but it's not okay to not educate yourselves when there are resources. We all walk around with one of these little bricks in our hands that you can just type things in and you can educate yourselves very quickly within seconds. And
did you
I'll be
did you
quiet.
say it was a brick?
Yes. Throw it at somebody and see what it feels like.
And you're absolutely right. We have to go to the picket lines. We have to organize. We have to go to the classroom. We have to get out in the communities. And we have to call out injustice even when it's inside our own house. And we've got to demand contracts that reflect the people we serve. And we protect every worker, no matter their background.
We need to invest in trainings. We do at CWA invest in trainings.
Yes.
We invest in Black history and the LGBTQIA plus protections, in gender justice, in mental health, and in political education, because we're not just reacting, we're building.
And one
And
thing that you said, Tay, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut a cut. I'm sorry.
oh,
I'm
and
so hot this morning.
I was saying, just most of all, we don't stop. Not because we're not tired. We know that we're tired, but because we owe it to those who marched, who died, who organized, and who gave up so much for us. That's why.
But you know what? Being tired is a feeling. You're tired, but somebody died.
Hmm.
Give me tired any day.
Yeah.
Give me to our
Okay.
listeners, you're not powerless, you're powerful. When you're on the job, you're at home, you're in your union hall or you're in your streets, you have a role to play. This is your moment. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm nobody in this movement, but as a single mother, you know how many picket lines I took my daughter with me on? You know how many
Hmm.
lobbying moments I took my daughter? I put her in her Easter Sunday dress and we went down to the legislative office and we got it done. They're like, make it work. Find your network. There are other mothers out there. Y'all pack your little lunches, pack your lunches, get them Capri Suns, make them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and you take them kids with you. They have to
That's right.
learn. That's how you teach the next generation on how to raise their voices and be powerful as well.
There
Yes.
goes the village, Timmia. There goes
It
the
There.
is. It
Yes.
is.
Yes. There it goes. And what I like about what Tay just said a few moments ago was that CWA invest in these trainings. We invest in Black history. We invest in LGBTQIA plus protections in gender justice. These are trainings that our locals and our constituency groups can reach out to us, and we will come and teach them to your employees or to your labor union members. We're not selfish with what we have, and that's what I love about CWA. We target or we train on everybody. We deal with the systemic racism. We deal with systemic laws, and we look at it also from the standpoint of how systemic racism is part of mental health, because this stuff will drive you crazy if you don't have the keys to make it through. And then on top of that, when all of us as activists and organizers are out doing our organizing and our activism, sometimes we are depleted. Sometimes we've given all that we have. And thank God we have a host of individuals who can pour back into us. Because when our cups get drained, if we don't have anybody to pour back into us, we're no good to anyone else. And that's why I think all of our CWA human rights members and staff that where we check in on each other to make sure that we are still in the fight, that we are getting rejuvenated. I'm sorry, I went all the way down
No,
the
it's
rabbit hole.
okay. It's okay. It's do or die time. And I'm just gonna say, if you're waiting on the time to get started, the time is past. Just pick up something and get started somewhere.
Hmm.
Just pick up something and get started.
And to our listeners, you're not powerless. You're powerful. Whether you're on the job, at home, in your union, or in the streets, you have a role to play, and this is the moment right now. Don't wait for somebody to come and pull you. Go to find some labor hall, even if you're not a union member and you have become passionate about something. Go and ask how you can help. Go and ask where you can be of assistance, because we don't play.
At CWA.
And history doesn't move by accident. It moves because we move it.
So if you're hearing this, know this. Now is the time. Right now is the time.
And you've been listening to the CWA Our Power Radio Show. Say it loud, say it bold, and remember, now is the time. Now is the time. Get up off of your couch, put them tater chips down, and find you a picket line to stand on and stand in solidarity, please.
That's right. And I don't want to give anything away, but I don't know if you guys saw this when we were at the It's Better in a Union gathering the other day, how people started walking up. They were on the scooters riding around the city. Did you guys see how many people came up and joined in and listened to what was going on?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And if you're eating potato chips, make sure they're union made potato chips.
That's right. That's right. Thank you guys so much. You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org. Tune in live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, and Pod Chaser. Up next, we have Rebuilding the South, one door at a time. And we have some awesome guests sitting in with us today. And we're so glad to have them with us. Brothers, sisters, and siblings in the struggle, you're locked into CWA Our Power, the voice of real people, real workers, and real movement. I'm Errol Minor, coming to you not just with a mic, but with a mission to lift labor, human rights, and civil rights together.
And I'm Timmia Wiley, like the coyote, ready to amplify what's really going on in the South. We don't just report change, we build it. From the picket lines to policy fights, we stand on the shoulders of those who knocked before us, and now we're knocking doors of our own.
And I'm Tay, holding space for the dreamers, the doers, the door knockers. This week, we're giving you a frontline look at a movement shaking the roots of the South, of the old South, planting seeds for a new one. Workers to Workers NC.
So what is Workers to Workers NC? Right now in Charlotte, the Triad and Raleigh-Durham offer 55 powerful organizers are fanning out in neighborhoods with one goal: rebuilding working class power, one door at a time.
And these aren't just political operatives. These are union members. These are our brothers in arms. These are community leaders. This is CWA, Unite Here, UAW, NCAE. For those of you who don't know, that's North Carolina Association of Educators, and so many more. They're trained, they're united, and they are unapologetically working class.
It's about building an economy that serves people, not profit. It's not focused on groups or PR consultants. It's face-to-face, heart-to-heart conversations about real life in today's economy and where we go from here.
So joining us now is Aiden Graham, a lead organizer helping to coordinate the Workers to Workers project. He's here to break it down, why this matters and why it's working. Good morning, Aiden. How are you?
Good morning, Errol. I'm doing well. Thanks for having us.
So to get this started off, let's hear from you and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, yeah. So my name is Aiden Graham. I'm a researcher with Unite Here, the Hospitality Workers Union. We represent over 300,000 workers in hotels, restaurants, and casinos across the US and Canada. And I'm also the director for North Carolina Politics. So I help run our political campaigns, including my role coordinating the Workers to Workers project.
So what inspired the formation of the Workers to Workers project?
Yeah. So ultimately, really what this is about is it's about power, right? So I think, our union has wanted to have this kind of project where we're working in solidarity with our brothers and sisters and siblings from CWA, the auto workers across the labor movement as a whole. But if you look at the state of our movements and the state of labor law, right, unions are viewed more favorably by the general public than they have been in decades, generations, but it's harder than ever to organize a union. If you look at the results of the most recent election, this is an indication, in our union, we talk about elections as a snapshot in time, right? They give us a sense of, in this particular moment, this time, place, and conditions, this is our power relative to our opponents. And I think what we saw is that we are not powerful enough, and we have to get together with our allies, and we have to build a bigger we. So ultimately, that's really what this project is about.
So why is North Carolina such a critical battleground for labor organizing?
Yeah, I mean, my sister here, Denise, can definitely speak to that a little bit, but part of it is that unions are more favorable than ever. Like, we're out having conversations with folks, and what we're hearing is people want unions, right? You can also see from the most recent administration, there have been massive investments in infrastructure. The manufacturing industry is being rebuilt in North Carolina and across the South, and a lot of states where we've had low union density in years past. But even with relatively low union density, we're the 10th largest state in the country, right? We have over 120,000 union members already in North Carolina, and those union members are fired up and ready to go, right? We're out here talking to folks about how do we turn things around? How do we transform these movements and transform the politics of the state in the process?
So the workers are fired up and ready to work.
That's right. There we go. That's exactly it.
So that brings me to my next question for you is, I'm sure you have some training going on. And so can you describe the training days that kicked off this month, canvassing? What transpired?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So we had over 85 people with us at a movement church in Durham, North Carolina, called the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship.
Hmm.
And we kicked off this program with 3 days of training, where on the first day we were really kind of looking at framing our this moment, right? What is this moment that we're in? What is the struggle that we're up against? And what is the role of the labor movement, right? In
Hmm.
terms of leading this fight back. So we really wanted to ground ourselves in the powerful movement history in North Carolina, in particular the labor history. So we had a professor from NC State, brother John Dillahunt Holloway,
Great.
delivered some remarks about Black Workers for Justice, a powerful movement organization started right here in North Carolina. We also saw the labor history exhibit from the North Carolina State AFL-CIO that
Hmm.
lays out really critical moments like the Marion Massacre, the Great Uprising in the 1930s when tens of thousands of textile workers went out on strike, the Tobacco Workers Union in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, that really built this model of civil rights unionism, exactly what you're talking about. So we
Hmm.
grounded ourselves in that history, the folks that, we're standing on the shoulders of, and then we learned from some of our allies, how are we innovating in this moment? So
Hmm.
we had folks from the teachers union talk about their majority campaigns and how they're seeing positive growth in their union, more teachers than ever, more school workers are joining their union than ever, and they're fighting for meet and confer. Because they don't have a right to a contract in North
Hmm.
Carolina right now. They're
Hmm.
trying to figure out what are the workarounds? How do we get around that? We
Hmm.
also heard from the auto workers about their recent success with the stand-up strikes and their push to align contracts for May 2028, big push towards the general strike.
Hmm.
And we heard from many others. We heard from Ciamber, North Carolina, which started out as an immigrant rights organization back in 2017, fighting deportations, but now is really refashioning themselves to be more of a worker rights organization because they see, like you were talking about, workers' rights are immigrant rights, right?
Hmm.
Labor rights or civil rights. So they were talking about how they're pushing for this model of Fourth Amendment workplaces, people that want to fight back against not just deportation, but government overreach as a whole. And then on day two, we talked about political education. We had some folks from the Industrial Areas Federation talk to us about understanding power. We had Carolina Federation help us sharpen our stories and tell our stories more effectively. And we had CWA roll out their training around reversing runaway inequality, all to equip us to be ready to get out in the field.
Hmm. Now, what you're talking about sounds a lot like solidarity. So,
Yeah.
what kind of solidarity actions are being taken alongside the canvassing?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So the first solidarity action that we took was on Friday evening at the culmination of our training. We went out and did some leafleting in support of airline catering workers with LSG Sky Chefs. So we represent several hundred LSG Sky Chefs workers here in North Carolina. So we were getting out and making sure that people know that those workers are fighting for a fair contract and asking for support from customers and people that buy their products at 7-Elevens and other convenience stores. On Saturday, we attended an action in Raleigh, hosted by a group called One Wake, which is one of the IAF affiliates in North Carolina. It was a powerful action. I don't know, Denise, if you want to say a couple words about that.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good
And we
morning.
attended Saturday. This rally was an accountability rally, and the mayor was there and the city council members that they had elected, and they supported their campaigns. So then you come back and they asked them three questions, and they had to answer either yes or no. And at the end, they gave them a 2-minute rebuttal as to why they hadn't, or if they had fulfilled their promise, and what was the plan for the future. It was very interesting because there were over 1,000 people in this church, unions and community organizations, different churches, and of all races and ethnicity. and they had to give an accountability for their actions. And I thought that was so amazing. And I think that we should carry that all over. The people that we elect and put in positions, they should be accountable to us once, they're put in office.
That's right.
And to be sure that they're doing what it is that they promised to do when we put them in office.
Exactly.
So it was very interesting to see this.
Yeah, it was a very powerful action to witness and get to be a part of. And then, as you were mentioning earlier, earlier this week on Tuesday, we were in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we were plugging into, CWA's campaign to organize Wells Fargo workers and to really put a spotlight on the, Wells Fargo's main union buster, Stan Sherrill, right? Kind of shame him in, I don't know if you would say it's his hometown, but definitely in a place where, Wells Fargo is an important stakeholder, right? And so it was awesome to get to stand shoulder to shoulder with our brothers and sisters in Ken and CWA.
So since you brought that up, and I know money is the main issue that is going on, and I know a lot of times during the canvassing, and Denise, what a way to introduce yourself onto the podcast or to the radio show today, because we know that you've been out there in the field day in, day out, talking to the real folks in real time. So my question is, when you're talking to individuals about money, the economy, et cetera, how are you all, what is the response, I should say, from everyday working people?
You want to take that, Denise?
Yeah.
And introduce yourself too.
Yeah, my name is Denise Jackson. I am with the Local 23 airport workers at the Douglas International Airport in Charlotte, North Carolina. And going out to the doors and talking with the people, we're hearing that the majority of the people are feeling squeezed. They're feeling that their life has changed for the worse, not better, and a lot of them don't even want to watch the news anymore because, it's so depressing. So just going out and talking with them, sharing our stories, and letting them see that they're not alone and that we are out there fighting for them, and to motivate them to do something more than complain or cry or be complacent.
That's right. Yeah, we're seeing that, most people that we're talking to are saying that things in the economy, they're getting worse, right? Both just what they're seeing broadly and in their personal lives. And that people are really being squeezed. The cost of groceries is astronomical. People's paychecks are not going up. And housing in particular, housing, healthcare, and groceries are a few of the things that people, are really feeling squeezed around. And there's a hunger to figure out how to transform the economy and really make it work for people. And so we're offering a lot of ways for people to get plugged in. And that's really the message is, you don't have to join us, but now's a moment that we need each other more than ever. So just get in where you fit in, find that place. And, we all need to be pulling in the same direction.
And and Errol, that was one thing that I forgot to mention about the rally in Raleigh on Saturday. It was about affordable housing. And the commitment that the city council and the mayor had made to providing resources for affordable housing.
That's right.
And it had fallen short,
Right.
and the people were saying, well, if you can put $20 million in a park, what about affordable housing? Are you putting putting parks over people? And I thought that was very powerful too, because if you don't put the people first, you won't have anybody to fill the parks,
Right.
So, to take care of people having housing and medical care, basic things rights that not a privilege, but it's actually a right to have.
And even when they put $20 million in a park and you have the unhoused going to the park, they put the unhoused out of the park, but I'll leave that alone.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. And it was actually even more than that. They had a bond for 275 million that they had passed for parks, and the ask to the counselors was for a $200 million bond for housing. And some of them weren't sure if they could commit to that, and people were shocked.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. what do you say to people who are frustrated with everything that is going on, but not yet in a union? Because it's better in a union.
That's right.
I'll stand on that. Okay.
That's right.
So what do you say to those individuals that will be tuned in? Because we did get an opportunity to announce that you guys will be on the radio show the other day when we were at the rally. So what do you say to those individuals who are tuned in this morning?
Well, as we're out canvassing, we have interest cards that you can get involved in a union or in a community group organization or in a teachers organization. Get involved somewhere and let your voice be heard. You
That's
know,
right.
because there's strength in numbers. And instead of just complaining, get involved and help this struggle.
That's exactly right. And, you know, it's a big kind of coalition or network of organizations that are all working together. And so as we meet people in the community, you know, we're sharing contacts with, you know, again, they may not be interested in organizing at their workplace, but they might want to get involved with a faith organization in their neighborhood or their
Mhm.
local neighborhood group. So we help make those connections so that they can get involved for the long haul. We're also inviting people into the reversing runaway inequality trainings because you know we're having these conversations about the economy and people are confused, people are upset, right? And so empowering people with information, understanding more about that, and then beginning to build relationships with us so that we can keep them involved.
All
And
right,
let them
Tate.
know that you can do more than just complain. Get involved. You know, you might not, like you said, you might not want to join the union, but join some group
Right.
where you can let your voice be heard and help the struggle.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have to help in the struggle because that's solidarity. Because an injury to one is an injury to
To
all.
all.
Tay, did you have something?
Well, so I actually just wanted to ask Denise a question.
Okay.
So, Denise, there are people who they think about canvassing, but they actually don't, go out because they don't have anyone to tell them why they joined the canvassing team. So, can you tell people why you specifically joined the canvassing team?
Okay. And actually, this was my first time canvassing, although I've been a member of Local 23. I've assisted in other roles. And I just wanted to get out this time to find my voice, first of all, begin to build strength in sharing my story and letting people know um, that I'm fighting for them, on a personal level. And it helps you to heal and get rid of some of the demons that we just have been quiet about so long and been ashamed of and embarrassed about for so long, letting you know that we have a voice.
Thank you. And then one last question I want to ask. You
Okay.
have a lot of conversations with people. Tell me, what is the most powerful conversation you've had with someone so far?
Oh, wow. I've had uh, at least four very powerful conversations. But one that sticks out with me the most is a grandmother who moved in with her daughter and son-in-law to help take care of her children because the mother is in school, nursing school, getting her master's, and they're paying like $300 a week for their baby in daycare. And they have two other kids that were in child care. And not having enough time to spend with the kids, with their homework and everything, because the parents' demands were so great. The grandmother moved in, and she's now homeschooling the kids, and she's given a lot of support, and she's like me. She's a baby boomer. She came up in the civil rights era,
Hmm.
and she knows what the struggle is about, and to be able to help bring someone else forward is a very powerful thing. And for her to be there in the capacity that she is to support her family, I think is so awesome. And I wanted to take her home with me.
So what I heard you say is, Denise, you don't just knock on doors, you open hearts. Uh,
Yeah.
you are the example that Union is power, and you're showing by action.
Yeah. And the union taught me that. I was
Mm-hmm.
so impressed when I joined the union to find out that there were actually people that felt like I felt, and I had never outwardly spoken it. And just to hear the powerful stories, a lot of times it brings tears to your eyes, and then it makes you open up to share your story because then you realize you're not alone. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what it going out the doors does for us, and we're hoping that it opens up people to be able to share their story and their fears and find their voice and be strength.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
And if it's okay for me to add a story, I would love to
Absolutely.
to share a story as well.
Yes,
Um,
please.
one of the really powerful experience, and there's been just a
A
number of
lot.
like even
Yes.
more than you could expect,
Yes.
just by virtue of having us together from all of our different unions. I remember during the training at one point, this leader from the teachers union who heads up their political program and one of the directors of the Carolina Federation came in and they'd heard each other's names a million times, but they'd never met. And they just met and they sat down and did an impromptu one-on-one. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's what we're trying
There
to
it
do, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
have that in the field too, where our canvassers we mix it up, right? So we're paired up across different
with different
unions.
unions. Yeah.
Exactly. So if one person's story isn't quite resonating with someone on the door, another person, it's like solidarity in action. The other person
Bullshit.
can kind of jump in and share theirs to make that connection.
Yeah.
But one of the encounters in the field that was really powerful to me was an older gentleman who is part of like a Motown group. And they had written an original song called It's Time.
Mm-hmm.
And the tagline was It's Time to Come Together.
Mm.
And it's literally what we are doing. And he came out of his house and he found it on YouTube and he played it for us.
Mhm.
And so we were like, this is the anthem for our campaign now. And I still get chills,
Mhm.
thinking about that story.
Now, what's the name of that song again?
It's called It's Time is the name of the song. I will send you the link. I don't have the link right now, but I will
Okay.
send it after.
Now
It's
I
time
want to
to
go.
come together.
Okay, no problem. I would welcome that so I could get it, listen to it as well as use it on this side of the house. Now, I
Mhm.
want to go back to something, and I know we're running out of time, but I want to go back to something. Denise, did I hear you say you marched in the civil rights movement?
Uh, I didn't actually march. I was in the first year of integrating the schools,
Mm-hmm.
and Alfred Alexander and Kelly Alexander, they were my classmates. I remember Alfred's and Al, the Alexanders, both the Alexander brothers' homes being bombed, and Wayne Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of, I was to witness Martin Luther King and the Kennedys, and uh, just all of the powerful things, getting a job in North Carolina, going
Mm-hmm.
through the discrimination. It was a lot. It was very real back
Well,
then.
if our listening audience could see you, they would not believe you were back there during that time. I'll let you know that now. She
Well,
is beautiful.
I'll let the audience know that I will be 72 years old on the 20th of August.
Well, happy
And I thank
pre-birthday.
God. Thank you. And I thank God for giving me strength at this time to be able to go out and to share my story and to hopefully bring hope to someone else to get out and fight for, for the struggle.
Mhm.
Because for a
So,
long time, I just kept it to myself.
so let me ask you this. This has been 60 years since civil rights, 60 some odd years.
Mhm.
Is it not disheartening to you to see that now we're having to fight for this in the year 2025 for the same things that you all fought for 60 some odd years ago?
Yes, it is disheartening, but I'm not surprised, you
Hmm.
know, because freedom is never easy. It's always hard won, so, and we never get to stop fighting for this. So I'm not surprised, but I'm more motivated at this age because uh, the next generation needs to know that they don't sit back on their laurels. And that's what this trying to take away our history is, if you don't remember where you came from, you won't know where you're going. So we have to keep our kids, teach our own kids how to fight in this struggle,
Mhm.
and to know that we're blessed people,
Yes.
and we can't be denied. We just have to keep fighting.
So let me ask you two this question before we run out of time. What would you say to someone listening who wants to get involved?
Well, I'll say, and I would love Denise to chime in as well. I'd say get in where you fit in. You know what I mean? Now is the time where we need each other more than ever, and we don't have to be working the exact same program to be pulling in the same direction.
Mhm.
So I know our international president, Gwen Mills, her direction is, we can't get frozen and trying to just understand the moment. We
Mhm.
gotta try new things and we got to just go, right? Just go, just find that place, get in where you fit in, and join the struggle. And what would you add to that, Denise?
I would like to say start with your job or with your church, and if there are not organizations there, see about organizing. Find out how to organize in your community, in your church, at your job. Um, if a union is not your thing, like I say, we do have lots of community groups uh, that we can be a part of rather than just sit back and complain. Find out how you can be a part of an organization that affects change.
Yes.
Yes. Aiden Graham and Denise Jackson, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us on the CWA Our Power Radio Show this morning. This is how we win together across unions, across cities, across color lines, and weight scales. We break bread, break silence, and break the old systems down. This is how we do it.
And
To
I
the
would
Wells
like,
Fargo family, or to the Wells Fargo workers tuning in. Keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
CWA sees you. We hear you and we're with you. And for all the listeners out there who's never joined a union but knows something ain't right, we got one message for you. It's better in a union. That's not just a slogan, it's your invitation. You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org. Listen and subscribe to us every Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, YouTube Radio, iHeartRadio, and Podchaser. Search for the CWA Hour of Power on your favorite podcast player. Up next, we have Timmia Wiley with the Union Buster of the Week.
Good morning, CWA. Good morning, KYOK listeners. It's me again. This week's Union Buster of the Week is not a single corporation or CEO. It's a dangerous policy being buried in the big, beautiful mega bill, the 10-year federal ban on state regulation of artificial intelligence, also known as AI. That's right. This sweeping provision, pushed by big tech and their political allies, would strip states of the power to regulate AI and give full control of this powerful technology to corporations. Unchecked, it's not just a tech issue, it's a worker rights crisis in the making. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some theoretical debate, it's a direct threat to our jobs, our privacy, and our union power. Let's break it down. How does this ban on union busting harm workers? It's easier to discriminate. AI hiring software already favors white and male sounding names. Without state oversight, companies will keep keep using biased sounding systems that filter out qualified workers based on race, gender, or background with no accountability. It's easier to lower wages. AI can automatically set wages at the lowest amount possible per task, per zip code, per person. No transparency, no bargaining, no justice. And if states can't investigate wage suppression, every worker becomes a gig worker. It's easy to spy and retaliate. From reading our text through bus cameras to listening in on break room chats, AI surveillance is out of control. This ban would block state level protections against worker surveillance and retaliation, especially against union activists. Worker privacy would be gone. AI systems can track everything from your GPS to your medical history, then sell the data. This means your personal health info could be your next job interview, and you never know. Creative get cheated too. Writers, artists, musicians, and performers, your work is being scrapped, cloned, and sold by AI companies. This bill makes it harder for you to fight back on demand fair pay for stolen labor. Public safety would be at risk. In schools, hospitals, and transit systems, AI is already being used to override expert human judgment. Nurses, teachers, and bus drivers were all told to follow a machine instead of their training. And if AI gets it wrong, workers get blamed. So who's behind this? This policy is crafted for the benefit of big tech billionaires, and it's being championed by some lawmakers willing to trade worker rights for corporate campaign checks. By tying the ban to federal broadband funding, they're even blackmailing states into silence. But here's the power move. The story comes straight from the people who knows what's at stake, including CWA's former Secretary Treasurer and lifelong warrior Sarah Steffens, who co-authored an article with Samantha Sanders of the Economic Policy Institute. These sisters in the fight for justice are calling it like it is. This ban is a reckless giveaway to big tech that crushes worker power. And she has never backed down, and she's willing to fight as a director of worker power at the Congressional Progressive Caucus Center. Her legacy with CWA lives on through her courage and clarity in moments like this. So this week's Union Buster isn't a person, it's a policy. And like all union busters, it depends on us staying quiet so we won't. We're raising the alarm and calling on all workers to demand Congress remove this provision from the mega bill, because AI shouldn't stand for anti-integrity or anti-industry standards. It should serve the people, and we don't let them program us into silence. CWA, our power is our union, and our power is now. Solidarity and every worker sounding the alarm. It has to be us. It's got to start with us. This has been your Union Buster of the Week. Back to you, Errol.
You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org. Listen and subscribe to us every Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Podchaser. Search for CWA Hour of Power on your favorite podcast player. Up next is Tea with Tay. Good morning, Tay.
Good morning, KYOK family. Good morning, everyone. So today with Tea with Tay, we have The Hell You Create. Welcome to Tea with Tay, where the truth is hot, the facts are steep, and we don't sugarcoat injustice. Today's blend, a piping hot pour of policy dressed in pearls. The so-called Big Beautiful Bill is a piece of political fiction crafted to sound like salvation. Are you reading or just listening to your favorite news outlet? Let me be clear. What they call beautiful is brutal. Let's stir it up. It said this bill will protect American values, restore greatness, and put the power back in the hands of the people. But who are the people we're talking about? Certainly not the working class, the undocumented, the disabled, marginalized folks, LGBTQIA plus people, maybe, or union families. Because every clause of this big, beautiful bill seems to be built to bury us, the working class, the marginalized, the rural communities. Here's the fine print they don't want you to read. Immigration restrictions that rip families apart and criminalize asylum seekers, especially those fleeing violence in Black and brown communities. I say Black and brown communities because we are paying attention. Rollback of labor protections that keep unions working safe, help keep up with this economy and all the price gouging happening, fighting for healthcare that we deserve, healthcare that does not put me in debt, a fair retirement plan, things we should already have. With language so vague, it opens the door for gig, economic abuse, and at will exploitation. Healthcares, trillions of Medicare cuts, and now families must work harder and make decisions like, well, am I hurting bad enough to get myself, am I hurting bad enough to set myself back financially trying to take an ambulance? Elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion, accessibility initiatives, gutting equal opportunity in fair hiring and education, sweeping executive power provisions that silence dissents and sidestep constitutional oversights, giving one person the power to undo decades of progress. They call it beautiful because they want us to be distracted by the paint job. But underneath, it's a burning house. As we've said before, we have to remember that we are working people. We're the ones who feel this the most. When we get when will we get beautiful? Because as each day goes on, it gets uglier and uglier. We become more and more divided. This is no longer about political parties. I'm talking about the people. Let me say this directly. CWA members are not fooled. We are the workers. We are the dreamers. We are the descendants of labor warriors, civil rights fighters, and we know that justice isn't built secretly, it's built in solidarity. So here's our call to action. Read the fine print. Know what this bill really means for us. Talk to your union. If you're not organized, now is the time. Right now. Call your reps, tell them we see the fine print and we won't be quiet. And show up at the rallies, especially in the voting booths. At your halls, every voice matters. Remember that. It may have been a little bold today, but you needed this brew with no sugar coating. So I'm Tay, and this has been Tea with Tay. I will see you all next week. Back to you, Errol.
All I have to say is an hour is not long enough to be with you, and a week is too long to be away from you. You have been tuned into the CWA Human Rights Hour Power broadcast. I hope something you heard today has inspired you to take action toward creating positive change in the world. Every person has the power to make a difference, no matter how small, and by working together, we can create a world where human rights are respected and valued. So I encourage each of you in the listening audience to reflect on your role in promoting human rights to effect change in your communities and beyond. Know that you are not alone in your quest for a more just and equitable world. When faced with injustice, it can be easy to lose hope and give up. But remember, justice may be slow like the truth, but when it finally comes, it will stand. Until next Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on KYOK 1140 a.m. and the all-new 106.5 FM KYOKradio.org. See you next week.